Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
The NFL season, everybody kind of knows what each team has. Yeah, there's always ups and downs and all those things. But the quickest way to derail and just totally throw off all expectations is when your starting quarterback gets hurt. I could think of nothing outside of your starting quarterback getting hurt that just said, well, here we go. We're just, it's the 2020 season. You know what I mean? Like, this is just what we're going to do now. Now, obviously, the 49ers in 2020, it was more than just the quarterback that got hurt, but it was just everybody got hurt. It was terrible. It's what it was. Well, coming in at number 42 on our countdown is the backup quarterback, Joshua Dobbs, newly addition. Free agent quarterback that played with several teams in the past few years. We'll detail that. Amazing off-the-field academic. His nickname is the Pastronaut, right? He's literally a rocket scientist. Fun story. But whenever I talk about quarterbacks, I always go back to this quote by Charlie Casserly. And if you don't know who Charlie Casserly is, he was a longtime general manager with the Washington Redskins back in the day. Then he was the first general manager, I believe the first general manager, of the Houston Texans. Was there for a long time, and he was the general manager while Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator there. And he always had this quote, right? The most important position, he's the East Coast guy, is the starting quarterback. The second most important player on your team is the backup quarterback. And the third most, that's right, the number 3 quarterback. And Kyle Shanahan worked under this dude. And I think, obviously, it's a little hyperbolic and whatever else. But the backup quarterback role is so important. And Kyle Shanahan has lived through his share of quarterback injuries, whether you go through all the Jimmy Garoppolo ones, you go through C.J. Beathard playing through injuries, Nick Mullins, he had the elbow issue, to Brock Purdy, to Trey Lance. I mean, good Lord. You remember for a long time it was Kyle Shanahan can't protect quarterbacks. Well, Brock Purdy played through 20 games last year, suffered no injuries, got a stinger once or twice, I think, but relatively beyond healthy as far as today's NFL goes. And so we even have the Shanahan quarterback rule where the third quarterback is now activated as an emergency quarterback because of Kyle Shanahan and because of Brock Purdy. I don't know if I pulled 100 49ers fans and said, will Joshua Dobbs play any snaps this year? I think 99 out of 100 would say, yeah, probably. Even Sam Darnold played last year whenever Brock was healthy. So Josh Dobbs comes in 42 on our list, and very wide margin. And our 4 1 through 91 polls on most important player for this season, his high was 37, and his lowest was 53. So, that's 16 spot difference there. He comes in 42 for us, and shout out to my main man, Josh, the executive producer of this show. Now, Joshua Dobbs going to wear jersey number 5. Trey Lance. I get to break out the old Trey Lance jerseys that I still have. Last year, they became Randy Gregory jerseys. I just duct taped over it. I don't know. If Brock gets hurt, maybe I pull one out. But seeing number 5 kind of hits just a little bit. I love the jersey number 5. I love the numerical look. I love Jeff Garcia. There's just, it's a cool jersey. It really, really is. And he's a big dude. He's the biggest quarterback we have by a considerable margin, 6'3", 216. He's light, but he's big. 32 and 5/8-inch arms, 29 years old. He is the vet of the group for sure. Ran a 4.64 40-yard dash, really good. That's the top 83 percentile of NFL quarterbacks, 1.56 10-yard split. His 3-cone, that's probably his number one measure. He's shifty. It's tough to get your hands on him. He ran a 6.75 3-cone. That's top 95 percentile of NFL quarterbacks. Like, he is change of direction, quick. 33-inch vertical, 10.2 broad jump, top 92 percentile there. Explosive lower body, speed, intelligence up top, quick release. That's what he is. Now, you plug in all of his metrics into mockdraftable.com. Listen to these comps. Deshaun Watson, that's his number 1, 84 percentile. Easton Stick, man, how many Trey Lance references we going to get this episode? And Geno Smith, 78%. So those are kind of there is a NFL mold that exists that Joshua Dobbs belongs to. It probably one of the late ones I wanted to put in there. I took it out, but now I'm like, man, I probably should. Donovan McNabb, not as thick as he is, but as far as the athletic workouts, very, very similar. So he's going into his 8th season. He's from Alpharetta, Georgia. And like we said, went to Tennessee. It was a teammate for a long time with Jawad Jennings, which is so cool. They even have the famous Hail Mary down in Tennessee. You just type in Tennessee Hail Mary. It's the first thing that pulls up. Alpharetta, Georgia kid, was an aerospace engineer major, 3-star recruit by ESPN, 4-star recruit by Scout.com. And, he's just such a fun human. I always refer to these guys as kids because they're all young whenever I start learning about them. We started doing our full draft write-ups in 2016. 2017 was my second year, and he was my last quarterback graded. I graded 7 quarterbacks that year. He was 7 of 7. I had him just ahead of Davis Webb. 10 quarterbacks were drafted the year he was. 6 are left, including C.J. Beathard. Same draft class. Or you could, if you want to cry, you could say it's the same draft class as Patrick Mahomes, which is also accurate. That is true. Now, his parents, pretty cool. Stephanie and Robert Dobbs. Mom retired from UPS, which is pretty cool. Dad retired as a senior vice president for Wells Fargo. That's pretty cool. Dobbs does have alopecia, which is, an autoimmune disease causing hair loss and all those things. Started whenever he found out he had it and started to show signs all the way back in elementary school. Talk about kids going through that. The character that you have to develop in the, just kids are mean. I love kids. I love children, but kids are mean. And as being a teacher, you see that firsthand, and people that can come out the other side going through what he's been through. Character level 10. And I mean, this dude, he's got whatever it is you are looking for between the ears. He's smart as hell. Named one of the 14 smartest college football players in the NFL back in 2014, 2015 SEC academic honor roll, all that stuff. Had a 2015, he did an internship at Pratt and Whitney, worked with world leaders in design, manufacturing, aircraft engines, all kinds of stuff for the U.S. government. This dude, when his NFL career is over, he's still got more to accomplish. Now, what's interesting to me, he was committed to Arizona State University. Yeah, that's right. We've got so many Arizona State guys. So there's a lot of background there that they could pull from the Arizona State coaching staff, Herm Edwards, all those guys. But he swapped his commitment very late in February of 2013 to the University of Tennessee. Just awesome dude. Really, really cool dude. Fun story. Been all over the NFL. He's played for 4 NFL teams: Steelers, Titans, Cardinals, Vikings. 2 of those last year. He got traded twice in 1 year. That does not happen very often. But, bounced around. Hasn't really played a lot in his career. Just over 1,000 career snaps. Sat for several years for the Steelers, played sub for the Titans, played a lot more last year than his entire career combined, but it was with 2 different teams. Didn't get a lot of wins, really tough opponent, but, definitely not the long-term plan at quarterback 1 for any team. So free agency happens this year, and he was a guest on Adam Schefter's ESPN Insiders, and this was pulled from there. Shout out to Josh. Quote, this is Joshua Dobbs talking about free agency this year. Quote, when free agency came, the opportunities that were presented, the biggest thing I wanted, as I said, was to get to a place that has a consistent front office, consistent coaching staff, and does a really good job of quarterback development, and have an opportunity to go through a full offseason in one scheme. All right, end quote. Now, again, just came from the Cardinals. Shots fired. That's just what that is. I love that. That's a 100% Cardinals. Y'all don't develop quarterbacks. Your schemes are a mess. Whatever. Take that for what you will. Now, he goes on, quote, get in there in April, and even though I'm still learning, it will be learning a new offense, but it's an offense that obviously very prominent throughout the league, end quote. Very smart. And we've talked about the intelligence. One, You just look and see what Sam Darnold got. He got a 1-year deal, $10 million, and has a chance to start week 1 for the Vikings. What did Sam Darnold do last year that says, yeah, this guy could start in the NFL? I have no clue. He was terrible every chance he got in there. Sam Darnold is not a top 30 quarterback in the NFL. I don't care what you're looking at. Not a Sam Darnold fan. Didn't enjoy his time here. He is a great one-read quarterback, but that's it. But you see, man, somebody goes through the Shanahan system, doesn't even play good in the time that he's there, gets ridiculous amount of money. So, yeah, follow those footsteps. If you have Shanahan tenure upon you, you're going to get paid somewhere. It's what it is. And Dobbs, very smartly, is playing into that, and I think that makes sense. Now, he's got his own podcast. You want to go check that out. It's called the Torch Bearers Podcast. Torch Bearers. He's, what's it called? He's held a youth football camp back in Nashville for 7 consecutive years, does a lot in the community. And what's crazy is he's making twice as much this year as Brock Purdy will be. Twice as much. He came in as a 1-year, $2.25 million deal, almost fully guaranteed, so he's not going anywhere. Brock Purdy's getting $1 million, just over $1 million. So you kind of take that. Now, the 49ers got a really cheap quarterback room. I'm just going to be really, really honest with you. You've got Purdy making $1 million. You've got Dobbs 2.25. You've got Brandon Allen 1.54. And then you've got an undrafted free agent in Tanner Mordecai. The 49ers currently have the second cheapest quarterback room in the entire NFL. Second cheapest. $5.5 million. That's it. That's all that's going to the quarterback position. That's it. Now, you look at the only team that's cheaper than us is the Bears at $3.5 million with Caleb Williams. Rams have the 4th most expensive room. Cardinals 5th most expensive. Seahawks 13th. We're 31st. That's going to change after this year, obviously. But enjoy it while it lasts. Now, Brian Greasy, the quarterback's coach, who I think has just been awesome, he was asked earlier this offseason what they liked about Joshua Dobbs and why they brought him in.
Josh has played a lot of football, and he's been in some really unique situations in the last couple of years where he was put under duress, both physically and mentally. He was able to go out and to play at a level that was winning football for the organizations that he was playing for. And so that kind of piques your interest to know that there's a guy like that can handle it mentally, that physically can do it, can play the position, and that is able to garner support quickly from a locker room and gain their respect and go win games in a short amount of time like that. So a veteran guy that we know can play and has come in and fit in.
He played against the Niners last year with the Arizona Cardinals. So he gets traded right before the 53-man cut down. So Arizona trades for him like, look, we're just going to plug this dude in. So he steps in like right off the bat while Kyler Murray was out. Stepped in and took over that team. Did a decent job. They were very competitive. Yeah, we're not great, but like, come on, man. This dude had 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It would start games. Then Kirk Cousins gets hurt for Minnesota after he wipes the floor with us. And then Minnesota trades for him, and he starts for them, like, after a week. Like, this dude was put in back-to-back bad situations last year. So you talk about the continuity. You heard the quote with Adam Schefter, like, yeah, it makes sense. This dude was put in non-win situations, went out there, laid himself out on the line physically. This dude took a lot of hits, and his athleticism kind of came in clutch because he was running for his life. That's just what he was doing. Now, he had 854 snaps last season. Again, only 1,032 career snaps. 535 snaps for the Cardinals, 317 for the Vikings. And eventually, the Vikings went with, Nick Mullins, baby, late in that one. But it's what it is. Now, he's drafted in the 4th round, 2017, Shanahan's first year. Picked 28 in the 4th round. Now, what's crazy is he was drafted the same round as 49ers, Joe Williams. Ouch. That one hurts. Never took one carry. Never had one carry. How do you running back and never get one carry? He started the whole trend of terrible 49ers drafted running backs, but whatever. He's out of the NFL. He went 11 picks ahead of George Kittle and 31 picks after C.J. Beathard. Like, that is just a cool little clump of nostalgia right there. The good, the bad, and the ugly is what I want to call them. But anyway, take that for what you will. Now, he was with Pittsburgh for 3 years, 2017 to 2020. Then he was with Tennessee, Cleveland, Detroit in 2022. Didn't play for all those teams, but was with those teams. Then Arizona, Minnesota last year, 2023. Look at his career combined statistically. Joshua Dobbs only attempted 512 passes. That's it. 312 completions, 62%, not good. 2,920 yards, all right. 15 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. So you've got this baseline in the NFL. You got to have more touchdowns than interceptions, period. That's it. He's got that, which is good, but a 77.3 rating, that's terrible. His saving grace has been his movement. Like, he is a dual threat quarterback. 496 career rush yards, 6 rushing touchdowns. So you add those to his passing touchdown, that's a 21 touchdown, 13 interception rate. Now we're cooking. Like, this guy's not winning a Super Bowl, but if you have a quarterback get hurt and has to miss 3 games or 4 games, this is the Shanahan logic with backup quarterbacks. Can he, with our team and system, go in and go 500? So if Brock misses a month, can this guy go 2-2? That's all we need him to do. Go 2-2. I think that he can. I really, really do. Now, you kind of look at what he has done starting-wise. All right, that's not good. He's got 14 starts. He's 3-11. But look at the teams he's been on. Steelers, all right, those were some good ones, but he never got to start with them. So, like, that's okay. Mark that off. So you're starting for an Arizona team. They're never good. Starting for the Vikings, which were a decent team last year. But again, that dude got traded mid-season. So he's never really been put in a system to thrive. Now, is that going to happen here with the 49ers? I don't think so either. And I do think if we went 500, if you told me Josh Dobbs is going to start 4 games this year, and you gave me the option, you'll go 2-2 in those games, I'll sign up right now. I'm in. You tell me 1-3, then I'm like, all right, I'm not signing that. You tell me 3-1, let's go, baby. Let's go. I'll mow your grass every Saturday for the rest of the year. You know, I'm talking about, like, so understand he's not the best backup quarterback in the NFL. It's not like it whenever he goes in, we're not all going to be taking a deep, like, oh boy, here it goes. That's part of it. But he's not a bad dude, man. 3-9 last year on some really bad teams in some really bad situations. That's what it is. Now, he's the clear backup this year. Could he lose the number 2 job? Probably not during training camp. Brandon Allen's not going to beat him out as the number 2. You know what Brandon Allen is. He's been here for, a couple years now. Tanner Mordecai, he's fighting for a practice squad. Maybe Tanner Mordecai could beat Brandon Allen. But the number 1 and 2 spot, they are clear. They are defined, and they're not going anywhere. That's Brock Purdy and Joshua Dobbs, the backup quarterback. Not a bad quarterback room. And with how cheap it is, lets you keep a lot of other studs, which I really do like. So Joshua Dobbs, I'm glad to have him on our team. Very easy guy to root for on and off the field. Amazing human. Hopefully we don't see him too much, but glad to have him for a year. And I hope he does something to where he goes and gets another contract for, that multi-whatever, just for the compensation picks, because he's entering in his 8th season. So next year will be his 9th season. After 10 seasons, no more compensation pick formula. So I hope Josh Dobbs gets paid like Sam Darnold did, and we could chalk that up. Let's get some more comp picks in here. Not going to be upset about that one. But for us, we'll just keep counting them down.